Hey there, I'm Sean Collins. I'm the esports reporter with the Dallas Morning News, and I cover the Dallas Fuel of the Overwatch League. And just wanted to bring my updated power rankings for this first section of the season. Next week is going to be the kickoff clash. It's the first Western Overwatch League tournament in quite some time, well over 2 years. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. If you disagree with some picks, make sure to let us know in the comments. But before I get into it, just an overall theme on my power rankings is I try not to overthink one loss, just because a lot of teams had one loss and then still looked pretty good against other teams. So I think that might just be some of the growing pains of Overwatch 2 and playing 5v5 and new different kinds of metas. But in my S tier, I think it's only fair. San Francisco Shock, they're the best team in the league right now. Haven't lost, and they've beaten some good teams in doing so. They reverse swept the Los Angeles Gladiators, and so has the second best team in the league, and that's the Dallas Fuel. They had a shaky start, but have looked really good ever since. And then I also think over in the East or in the APAC, the Philadelphia Fusion are looking fantastic. So I've got them in that S tier as well, and just in that A tier is going to be Shanghai and the Gladiators. And I think that those guys are kind of, if there was like another like space in between, I'd have those two separated. Those are my top five teams. But afterwards, I did think the Washington Justice have looked pretty good. They did lose a match earlier in the season, but they looked good ever since. The Atlanta Reign, I still think that they're a really good team, but they're not quite into that top five range, but they could be later. Same with like Seoul Dynasty. I do think Seoul has potential to be in that top five area, though. B tier, this is where it gets a little bit tough. I think about all of these teams are roughly about as good as the last team. They look really good in some matches, and they look non-existent in others. B tier, lower tier, capable of winning some matches, maybe against teams in that B tier, but probably still belong, probably still belong. B should say C, but that's kind of weird. But they still kind of belong in that area, and then in that D tier. I do think that those are the three worst teams in the league right now. I think Paris is probably the worst, but these three guys are honestly around on the same page. We still don't know enough about the Los Angeles Valiant, but based on last year and then also what you've seen earlier this year, I still think that spot's fair until proven otherwise.